this piece of language analysis, you're asked to construct a coherent piece of prose. You need to analyse the ways in which written and visual language are used to present a point of view. So you need to have a look at the cartoon and also the 2 articles on coming slides. So just having a look at the cartoon, visual language is an interesting one in terms of the power to persuade. You want to think of cartoons as pieces that indeed have a point of view to get across. So just as an editorial or opinion piece has a message to get across, so too does a cartoon. In cartoons, you need to consider ideas of the cartoonist. So what is the cartoonist's point of view, just as you would imagine the point of view of an editorial or opinion piece. And you need to think about how the visual communicates what can often be quite a serious message. Often it's done in a humorous fashion, and this is done through the use of satire or also caricature. If you're needing to reference any kind of meta-language terms like satire, please remember the chapters in your textbook which outline many of the meta-language strategies. So if you're thinking, what is it that I'm trying to say, you need to remember that in your textbook you have all the explanations with examples of the things you're trying to say. So you just need to look in the textbook while you're writing your piece and think, what is it that I'm trying to explain here? The words you need, you will find if you go looking. So what we need to do when we consider this cartoon is think about satire but also caricature. So if we look at the image of our Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, what you need to consider the aspects of this image that sort of portray her in a fashion that's not particularly kind, and which part of this image would be described as caricature. You go straight for the nose. The pointy nose is not a sort of natural image of the Prime Minister, although she does have a pointy nose. We know that it's not that pointy. So there's a reason behind this caricature or exaggeration of a subject's features. It's usually done in quite a mocking way. So too the depiction or caricature of her big bottom. We see that the Prime Minister is being mocked, and despite this slogan of gender equality at last, this idea of women and men being equal is kind of devalued, I guess, by the portrayal of our Prime Minister. You want to consider what the cartoonist's point of view is. Does the cartoonist actually believe that women on the front line is a good thing? It's quite provocative, having the dead bodies on the ground, one man, one woman, suggesting equality, but suggesting equality at a cost. So you need to consider what sort of message the cartoonist is getting across. Again, please look at your textbook, consider whether or not messages are subversive, whether they're scathing, whether they're critical. You need to think about tone when you're doing this. So I would suggest going to the page in your textbook where we have an outline of lots of different suggestions for tone. So have a look through the list of descriptions for various tones, and you might be able to find something you can apply in your analysis of the cartoon also. Tone is not just something that you find in a written piece of work. Moving on to the next.